What is up, Kaiju Seekers? Today we have a very special unboxing and review of the MonsterVerse Kong Skull Island Kong figure. This is from I'm thinking it's series or wave 3, or either one of the new waves of the MonsterVerse toy line, where they're trying to branch out from either just having the figure line of a specific movie onto having the toy lines for multiple movies. As you can see, we have this new packaging here featuring monsters from across the MonsterVerse, where we have Godzilla, Kong, both from the new movie, Mothra, King Ghidorah from King of the Monsters, as well as up here we have the Ion Dragon. So of course, they are branching out to having figures from multiple toy lines, and here they have a bit of a rework of some of the past Kong figures we saw, because we know they did have a Kong figure from Skull Island done a few waves ago. This is brand new with, I believe, some new articulation and some new paintwork, because the old one had some different paintworks that was a bit in reference to the environment from when the action scene of the figures taking place. As you can see, we have the figure itself of Kong here with I think some brand new sculpting to help with those joints. And then we have the accessory of the propeller blade with the chain, and then the chopper, which are in reference to the Kong Skull Island movie, which many people hold in high regard as one of the better MonsterVerse movies, if not the best. Here we have some more packaging of the movie, and here we have everything the toy has to offer. Of course, we have some of that new promo imaging of him holding the chain with a chopper there. Kong Skull Island descriptions, fully posable and articulated. And of course, we have more of the new wave of figures. Of course, you have the real feel Godzilla and Kong, and then we have the new Frostvark from Legacy of Monsters, and then we have the Burning Godzilla from King of the Monsters, as well as the Mothra, which is more blue, either to reference the posters, which were very popular at the time, or just the fact that Mothra would have this blue bioluminescence to her. I am looking forward to picking up the Frostvark if I ever find that one, and maybe the Godzilla, although I'm not a fan of that sculpt that they're using for it, but I think the paint deco looks very cool. Anyway, we're gonna open this guy up and get started with the review. Alright guys, now here we have him out of the box, brand spanking new, and I gotta say, in hand he feels very good. Articulation is nice and smooth. And of course his accessories fit into his hand pretty well. You can have him swing the propeller blade chain like that. And of course you can have the articulation there, so shoulders can move 360 up and down. Head is on a bit of a swivel, you can go all around. No up and down movements. But you have the shoulder joints, which can go that way, all around. And then like that. Swivel at the wrists, which is pretty nice. And then you have the legs that can go that far. That much of a spread. Can kick. And he's got the knee joints. And then he does have a little ankle swivel, which is neat. And of course, sculpt wise, I'd say sculpt is one of the better ones. Anyone who knows me knows that I appreciate a good sculpt, and for what you get, I'd say is very, very well done. There's a nice face sculpt right there, a bit of a screaming face. I would have to look back again, but this might be either a resculpt or a touch-up of what they had before. I remember they had, I don't know if it was Playmates, but I know one of I think Bandai America, when they still did these figures, had another figure like that, but it was pretty like a static pose. This one is definitely an improvement from that. And then I think overall, even as they went on, they improved the joints and the sculpts of the figures, which is really nice. Has that nice texture detail. The scars, this signature scars from the movie, are pretty, just like striped on, but it's pretty good. Stands out a lot here. And then one interesting thing is I don't believe this comes out. Or does it? Yeah. I don't believe that comes off because, as you can see, there is a battle damage piece that a lot of the GVK Kongs came with, which I will see if we can make a comparison soon. But it also comes with this little chopper, which I say is pretty to scale, as he was in the movie, which is pretty hit or miss with some of the figures with the vehicles, because the scales aren't always as right, but it doesn't really matter for toys like these. But for this one, it actually scales pretty well. The propeller blade is nice, not much detail, but there's enough sculpting in there to make it look like a rusty propeller blade. And the chain goes on pretty nice. So now moving on, we have a comparison with the GVK Kong with Battle Axe. And I would say it is a very clear look at how different they were. This one doesn't have as much of the beard that this one has going on. And some of them had different paint schemes. This one has a darker hue to it. But I think these were overall, this was a vast improvement from what came before. And I think overall they did a great job. And here you can see some of the battle damage. And this one doesn't take much to pull off, but this one I think is like either glued in or sculpted in that way. And that's something we've seen with a lot of the GVK figures, or the GXK figures I mean, to where their battle features aren't as prominent on them. So you snap that back in, but as you can see, this one is, I would say, even still an improvement of the figures that have came so far. So we can put that there. And of course we have another recent one with the GXK Kong with Beast Glove. And you can see how the improvements came from this here to this one. This one is much more detailed, much more, somewhat better painted. The scars there too. But look at all that detail. And so, looking at this here, you can see how this is a bit more in line with what we're getting. I would say sculpting is still better on these GXK figures than this one. But it is a step up from what we had before with what we had here. I would say the main thing that was improved from this one, from the old ones we got, is likely the joints. As this one has ankle joints, where this ones were static. No ankle joints here. But you can see how, you can tell this is a younger Kong, and this is an older one, which is very nice to see in the figures. So overall with that, I will say this is a very nice figure for the price of $10.99, and it goes very nicely in my collection. I'm very happy with this figure. It is nice to have a very decent, above decent Kong figure in my collection. So let me know what you guys think of this new wave of figures, as well as this particular Kong Skull Island figure. Comment down below your thoughts, any figures you want to see me pick up. Maybe I'll review them if I ever find them in the wild. There's a lot of new stuff coming out, so let me know if there's anything you want to see, if there's anything you've picked up. I will see you next time, Kaiju Seekers. Over and out.